Alrighty. How's it going, everybody? Hope you all are doing well. What's it called? It's a Saturday. It's 1 in the afternoon. Like, Eastern time at least. We're back, you know? We're back with some more The Greatest Attorney. Last time I tried to finish the first investigation and all in one stream, but I couldn't get to it because I had to leave early. But still almost a 3-hour stream, so hope you all enjoyed that one. Today I'm gonna try to give you guys a big one, but of course, you know, that all depends on how things turn out, right? But yeah, no, what's it called? Got a little bit of a headache, so if I'm a little dazed or slow, I apologize for that. It's also really hot. Let me turn on my fan. Sorry if you're gonna hear it in the background. There you go. But yeah. Update on the next video. So I mentioned before, I mentioned a lot, that I'm gonna be taking like a little hiatus to work on some life stuff. But I have been in the background working on a video that I've been working on for like the past 8 months, I would say. I think 8 months. It's half a year to 8 months. So during this hiatus, that video will most likely come out. I don't know when, because it's definitely gonna take me a bit, but it'll definitely come out in between that. If not, it'll probably mark the end of my hiatus. But either way, I'm gonna be taking a little break to work on, you know, that stuff, because I don't make money on YouTube, so I don't really have a reason to try to upload consistently. Well, except for the passion. Now I'm not thinking about it, because I love doing it, but it's a passion project. And I have to treat it like a hobby as such, so I can, you know, stay afloat, right? Because I want it to be known that I love doing this. Like, I don't. While I want this to be my job, I also just love doing it in general. So even if I don't make money from it, it's fine. Like, I this is my heart and soul. Every one of these videos, even if they're old, even if they're good, even if they're not good, you know, I love doing this. So, you know, we ball and all that. But yeah, you know, you guys will see that video when it comes out. Drop a what's it called? I forgot what it's called. I'll drop a community post when that happens. Okay. Let's ball. So yeah, pick back up where we left off, right? And destroyed machinery. Machinery. Alright, let's continue. Alright. Where's my remote? I've been a cynic. Pick up the bottle, then I switched it to no limit. Mama took it from me. Did I say that I was finished? I know she praying for my liver. I know she gave everything to sacrifice. I forgot the rest of it. I don't like much of Code of the Friends new music, but where is it? A Solar's Return. That song. That song is goated. That song is amazing. I love Solar's Return. Like, where is it? Photo. Yep, it's that album. The album is fire. Man, Solar's Return. To Kill a Sunrise and To See a Sunset are pretty good as well. I like To Kill a Sunrise more though. That album's pretty good. Him and Static Selecta really cook with that one, but To Kill a Sunrise, bro. I can't lose. Put it by the wolves. Put it in the pack. There you go. Alrighty, back to it. Right, are you done here, Mr. Naruto? Sorry? Is it about time you were leaving? Or rather, it is about time you were leaving. That lot are here now. That lot? The forensic investigation team. They'll be giving me the heave-ho in a minute too. Oh dear, poor Grexy. Here, have another cup of my special blend to cheer you up. Yeah. Same song and dance. Keep drinking your tea, buddy. I put pee-pee in it. That's the spot. Yep, hits every time. Well, at least I've seen the scene with my own eyes. Looks like this is as far as we're gonna get with our investigations here, at least. What are you thinking? Hurley might know something. Mightn't he? How about what? How about Mr. Reaper? About what happened to Lord Van Zieks, you mean? Yeah, it sounds like something very significant occurred after he graduated from university. Something that completely changed his life. Maybe, but I have no idea where to find Mr. Sholmes at the moment. We don't have cell phones, so I don't know what to do. He's in the middle of some big cases, ain't he? Here, this is what you need. What's this? Some kind of entrance ticket? Madame Two Spells. Is this supposed to mean something to me? You don't know it? It's the most popular attraction in London at the moment. It's very close to Baker Street, actually. We could go now if you like. No, we don't have time for visiting attractions today, Iris. We have a big trial tomorrow. But that's where Hurley is. What? At this popular London attraction? Yes. How is it that you know where he is? Hurley told me. But he told me to keep it a secret from you, Bruno. Madame Two Spells. I don't see how it could be related to the case we're investigating here. But then, stranger things have happened. And when they happen, Mrs. Sholmes is usually at the heart of them. Madame Two Spells, a museum of interesting waxwork exhibits not far from Baker Street. It's become a very popular London attraction in recent years. Excuse me. This is where Hurley is. I'd love to know what he's up to. Wouldn't you? I guess. October 22nd, Madame Two Spells Museum. Madame Two Spells Museum of Waxworks. What is this place? Look at all these terrifying scenes. Why are the people so still? Guillotines. Ruthless murderers. I know what I'll be dreaming about tonight. They're all wax models. They're all amazingly realistic, aren't they? What do you think, Bruno? Shocked? Wax models? I can't do that, I'm sorry. I read about dead bodies and wax ones in a magazine about strange phenomena. Depending on how corpses are kept after death, parts of them can turn into wax, apparently. It's called a depository? Or adipockery. Let's see. I don't care if Feedback Hub wants my perspective. Adipockery, yeah. Yeah, I was right. Alright. Never heard of this phenomenon before. Stop talking about creepy things like that, Bruno. You're scaring me. Yeah, she's 10. Anyway, adipockery doesn't... Anyway... Adipockery doesn't form readily, you know. It's only in very specific... What now? I just remembered something else I read in another magazine about strange phenomena. There was an old lady, maybe a witch, who used to pour molten wax over corpses and put them on display. None of the exhibits in here are real. They're all entirely man-made replicas. It can't be! You really expect me to believe that? Just look at them! Oh. There's no way anybody could make models of people that are this realistic. Yeah, so you would think, right? And there are such gruesome scenes. Wait. What is it? Oh, no. Must be seeing things. I'll save him for last. You already know what I'm talking about too. Is this some infamous murderer? Yes, called Jane. Oh wow, that's funny. Jane the Ripper, huh? I'm Jeff the Killer. I'm Jeff the Killer. Yes, called Jane the Ripper. All her victims were young women. I knew it. You can tell by the way she's holding that knife. Sure sign of a murderer. Well, yeah. What's the matter, Bruno? I've worked it out. I know what she's doing. She's trying to fill that bathtub with blood so she can have a soak in her victim's gore. Not according to information about the exhibit on the little board here. Doesn't mention anything about the bathtub. Really? Sorry, I don't think it's significant. I still think it has to be there for a reason. I like the 2D, what's it called? 2D art here. That big heavy curtain is in a very prominent position, isn't it? I have a nasty feeling there's gonna be something truly terrifying behind it. I mean, you can tell by the arm. Oh yes, That's the very famous two-post special exhibit. It depicts one of England's most notorious killers. Do you want to pay an extra fee and have a look? Pay more money? To be even more terrified? Ooh, let me think about that for a moment. It was only a suggestion. These models are so well made. I can't tell what's waxwork and what's a real human. Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time and all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about. He's thinking about it makes me wish it was closing time already and I was on my way home. That's funny. This is an example of Western Tsujigiri. Oh, Western Tsujigiri. Never heard of that. I don't know what that is. You know, when an unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks a passerby to test his sword. I still don't know, no. But actually, a waxwork samurai would probably be hugely popular. Could you model it, do you think, Bruno? Usually. Doing that Tsujigiri thing you mentioned? Well, I do have a sword, but I have no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject. For now, at least. What do you mean, for now? Oh, it's a funny place for a little ladder. What is it? Something wrong? No, it's just in Japanese. There's a totally different word for a ladder that folds like that in half. Or folds in half like that. We do in English too, you know. It's a step ladder. Or just steps. So be careful of making assumptions about other cultures, Bruno. That's how wars are started. I realized step ladders were an international point of contention. But the writer makes an astute point. It's the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes has his own wax statue in here. Really? Well, he is world famous after all. It's an uncanny resemblance, isn't it? Makes my skin crawl to look at it. I know. But look, Runo, you can kick this Hurley. He doesn't move a muscle. Kick around kicking the exhibits, Iris. Wait. It just moved, I'm sure. And not just a little bit either. Really? Did it? And look closely. There are beads of sweat on the face of this waxwork model. Shall we move on, Iris? Over there, look. There's a great murder scene to enjoy. Much more appealing. My dear fellow, I take exception to you recording in such a manner, as if you've seen something truly abhorrent. Mr. Sholmes! I knew it. Iris, what possessed you? I strictly forbade you from divulging my temporary waxwork secret to Mr. Naruhodo. Temporary waxwork? What do you mean? And that's kick! Could you not have exercised a little more restraint? You winded me! Maruna has something he needs to ask you. Ah, a question. And I thought you'd probably be getting bored too. So here we are. Well, I can't deny that your timing was impeccable. A mere 2 minutes more being stationary like that, and my great brain, upon which all my successes been built, would have turned to wax. Thank goodness you arrived in time. I can't imagine what would have happened if that happened. Indeed, in many ways the pair of you just saved the world from an unimaginable loss. Oh, Hurley, you do like to talk nonsense, don't you? You can know something, it's true. About Lord Van Zeeks, what happened in the past to change him. Excuse me. How can you be goated? You don't like your own photos. Alright, let's see. Now that you're here, let's take our time. How can I be of assistance? A Simpson? Susie, how can I be of assistance? For you're in luck. I'm suddenly quite taken with the idea of conversing. Oh, well, actually, I'm in quite a hurry. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe something is afoot within the walls of this very museum. A most fascinating case, if I'm not mistaken. Really? Moreover, I have a strong suspicion that it is related to the matter about which you come to me now. Oh goodness, excuse me. I have a strong suspicion that it's related to the matter about which you come to me now. But how could it be? We shall speak again presently, my dear fellow. But for now, I must return to my work. What? Back to being a temporary waxwork exhibit? These models are so well made. I can't tell what's a waxwork and what's really human. I already read that part, yeah. I saw Hurley gets away with making himself a temporary exhibit for the day. Maybe there are other people posing as exhibits in here then. Or maybe all the exhibits are real people. And when it's closing time and all the visitors have gone home, they suddenly start moving about. Just thinking about makes you wish it was closing time already. I was on my way home. What was the point of that? I literally have just seen that. What was the point? Why did they unmark it? Is this an arm? It looks like an arm, doesn't it? Maybe one of the waxwork models has fallen over. You don't think it could be one of the mass murderers in here, do you? Runo! Stop scaring me! Is it a wax arm? Or a real one? A real one, excuse me. Come on, you're always pointing that finger of yours in the court. Poke that arm now and see how it feels. Objection! Objection! That's funny. Jane the Killer, bro. That's so funny. I'm Jeff the Killer. I'm Jeff the Killer. Alright. Madam Two Spells. I'm Jeff the Killer. I'm Jeff the Killer. What is this place? Madame Two Spells came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened this little waxwork museum last year, it enjoyed great popularity. It's enjoyed great popularity in London. Or there are museums like this in Japan too. But these displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual real people, are they? The extreme realism of these waxwork models is a particular secret of the Two-Spells family, they say. They've earned renown during the French Revolution for waxworks of victims of the guillotine. That sounds grim. The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the... The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned. Apparently, the sculptors will make the models directly from the corpses, right there at the site of the executions. Huh? That really turns my stomach. It's just one of the several legends about the Two-Spells family. Whether there's any truth in it, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless, the most popular area of the museum, by quite some margin, is this House of Horrors. House of Horrors? Of course, visitor numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition, but people usually flock here to the exhibits of some London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, most of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. So they're even stiffer now than the models of them. Have you ever heard of poor taste? My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked. So, the hideous exhibits in here are... They're all portrayals of real events that took... Oh, good lord. They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place. It's just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop? Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here. Oh, he's back to being a waxwork, is he? I feel like, you know, with Luka Doncic getting traded to the Lakers like almost 2 years ago now, coming up in February, well, a year and a half, I would say. I feel like people need to understand, like, it's like getting moved away from your friend in class by the teacher, right? He didn't want that. Of course he didn't want that. Like, he loved Dallas. That was the city that gave him his career. Not in a sense that like he wasn't anything before that. Man, it was legendary in the EuroLeague. But like, it's just crazy because you look at it and it's like, damn, like, he loved Dallas. Like, he really loved Dallas. And so it's just sad to see, but like, at the end of the day, all you can do is keep moving forward, and who knows, maybe at some point he'll be able to go back, like maybe like later on in his career, like at the end of it maybe. play with Cooper Flag. That'd be cool. Have a reunion tour there. But I feel bad for him, man. He didn't deserve that at all. Nico Harrison really, like, a business is a business, right? Basketball is entertainment. It's also a business, but it's like what he did to this poor kid, man. So messed up. So messed up. Not even just him. What he did to Dallas, like, that city has been struggling to recover, even if they got Cooper Flag. Like, you just won Rookie of the Year, they're doing great, and it's like, man, like, when you look at him, it's just like, you can't help but think about Luka Doncic. Like, that's so sad. Because not only is it unfair to Cooper, or excuse me, it's unfair to Cooper Flag, it's unfair to Luka as well. They're always going to be tied together because of that Nico Harrison connection. Like, it hurts. It really hurts. But yeah, anyway. What do you mean by a temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes? Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act. Catching them? Every half an hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'll happily allow them to take a photograph with us. Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murderers in here? But why, Mr. Sholmes? He's scamming. He's a scam artist. My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money! He really roared at me there. Very fitting for the House of Horrors. As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent. And I have the ravenous iris to ravenous? Ravenous iris to consider. Oh, Hurley. Oh, Hurley. I'm so hungry. If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit, Mr. Naruhodo. What's he threatening to rope me into now? So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours. Maybe some other time. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril. Back to being a waxwork again. His me or did his final remark there sound like a curse? That's so funny. Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your own peril. Well, what is it you'd like to ask me then? Actually, it's about Lord Van Zieks. Ah, friend Mr. Reaper. How did you find him? Well, I trust. So I filled Mr. Sholmes in about everything I'd learned. About Lord Van Zieks, about Professor Harebrained, and about the strange coincidence that they had been at the university together. So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Van Zieks such a different person. I was sure that you'd know Hurley. You said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before. That something was afoot. And that you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes? He suddenly clammed up. Well, it seems we've reached the unavoidable... Greetings. There she is. Oh, my beloved. She turns me into a love over lust type of guy. Well, actually, I guess it's the opposite, lust over love type of guy. Shout out Miss Two Spells, bro. We love her. Look at Gina, man. Look at Gina. Oh, hello. Where did she appear from? And what's she wearing? Does she look any more mysterious? Alright, I gotta make sure I do this right. She's French, but I can't do a French accent. I hope You are appreciating my museum. Sorry? Have we... Mr. Sholmes, do you know... Not again. My apologies. I am Esmeralda Two Spells. This is my museum of waxwork. What? You're the Madame Two Spells? You say that like you know her. Then sure. Bien sûr. Of course, that's what it means, alright. Bien sûr, okay. Bien sûr. Bien sûr. Makes you want to try. Makes you want to try the what's it called, the accent, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Though only 26 years young, I might add. Is that significant somehow? I am a madam in name only. It has a certain je ne sais quoi. Right. Firstly, I must apologize for my waxworks, or rather, one waxwork in particular. That'll be Mr. Sholmes then. I was led to believe he was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be toil and trouble. She sounds deadly serious. That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Van Zieks now? Let's not forget what Hurley said before about something being afoot. Right here in the museum, I mean. Yes, I know, but I'm curious. I'm so curious. I want to know what's happening here. Haven't we got enough on our plate already? I missed 2 spells. Just gave you a look. Let's see. Esmeralda, or excuse me, not Esmeralda. Esmeralda. Esmeralda, yeah. Esmeralda 2 spells. The proprietress of the Madame Two Spells Museum of Waxwork and the latest selling line of artisans privy to the secret Two Spells technique of capturing a perfect. That is one long sentence. Good lord, alright. The proprietress of Madame Two Spells Museum of Waxwork and the latest in a line of artisans privy to the secret Two Spells technique of capturing a perfect likeness. I love her. I love her so much. Alrighty. The waxworks. Did you make all these waxworks, Madame Two Spells? I did. I am the 3rd generation of waxwork goddesses, you know. Gosh. It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. No, she's French. How do French people sound, man? Yeah, I can't do it. The French is too hard, man. I have family who live in France, well, more like Guadeloupe, but still. But they speak Spanish, so them speaking in French, I don't hear them doing now. I only hear them speaking Spanish. Let's see. Her fortunes was wow, okay. Checkered? Checkered. Yeah, checkered. Oh, alright, yeah. No, I'm saying it looks like it. It's just spelled with a Q. Her fortunes were checkered, living through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. Though that is when she acquired the savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing lifelikeness. All these waxworks really do look like... They do look as though they are... Goodness. All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. And in fact, they look more alive than Hurley. What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modeled, in the hours immediately following their executions. That is the secret to the extraordinary lifelikeliness. That sounds terrifying. All walks of life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see. Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying? Do not fear. Sorry. This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope. It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it. Sorry, as I should have eased you into things. What's the situation with that? Ah, my temporary waxwork model. He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal. Oh, what sort of proposal? My dear madam, what these sports exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous great detective. Oh, words to that effect. Naturally, I am well aware that Mr. Chalmers is widely known in London as the talented detective. It's great detective, actually. He's very specific about it. Yes, the creme de la creme. So I was keen to come to some arrangement with him, of course. But sadly, we were unable to agree terms. So let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services. For a mere £500, I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment. All words to that effect. Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch. Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment, due to unforeseen circumstances. So we came to the current arrangement instead. Surely he doesn't really need to do what he's doing now, does he? I would think not, but he was very insistent. I have a 50-shilling problem that must be resolved by this morning. By the morning. All words to that effect. It's the pawnbroker. That's what it is. He must have something to redeem. The consulting detective work not going so well. Or is the consulting detective work not going so well? I wonder. Could I ask you something? Pension. Oh, pension? I'm just curious. Is there anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps? Whoever suggested such a thing to you? Oh, well, it was your temporary waxwork over there who mentioned to me a little. Oh, he's disappeared. A wax model is a work of art. Oh. A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade. Oh, excuse me, sorry. A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object of trade. There you are. Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working. Do you wish to be melted down? My dear Madame Two Spells, save your weapons. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem we must throw into the melting pot instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police. Why ever not? She's turned as white as a sheet. Because you have at your disposal a great detective, whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. Though please be aware that I prefer no. I insist upon payment in advance. Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we? Before I engage my analytical processes, I must ask you to clarify something. What, pray, is behind the curtain? That is a Two Spells special exhibit. There is an extra charge to see it. Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a serial. Wow, she is upset. My goodness. It must depict a serial killer then, I presume. Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain, I wonder? Ah, absolutely. Oh, wow. I know it's absolutely not, but like, how do you pronounce it? Absolument none. Absolument no. I see. Absolument none. There you go. Absolument none. There's nothing amiss behind there. I guess I could do French here, but I don't really know about that. Nothing amiss, madam. What about the arm protruding ominously from under the curtain? I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond, before the situation worsens. Yes. Yes, very well. I will draw back the curtains, but only a second. I must confess, I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Two Spells special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed. Yet somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however, is the portly gentleman living or lying peacefully on his back on the floor. Both of these guys were in case 3 of the last game. They were the jurors. Remembering now. Well then, perhaps Mr. Sholmes, the man on the floor, is the ruthless killer himself. I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's a perfectly ordinary London gentleman. Not even a waxwork, in fact. What? As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they're always distinguishable from real humans. Distinguishable, excuse me. So, allow me to present my two conclusions. The first is that a sizable business transaction has been taking place in a special exhibit. Why would you say that? And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime. Je ne sais quoi. She looks as pale as candle wax. I don't understand. So, Madame Tuspels, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. Yep, it always has to be one of these. Always does. I don't know if I would have been able to finish this one by the last stream, honestly. I would have been really tired. To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum. The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. In my estimation, some £200. That is all my own money. So what does this large sum of money reveal? Ah, not as much as the involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Madame Tuspels. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes fall now. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that public notice. Waxwork for sale. Your business is at hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer the centerpiece of your special exhibit for the sum of £200. None! Now let us explore the next curiosity which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It appears the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Ah. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow, of course, was the £200. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively. What are you suggesting? He rashly agreed to purchase the waxwork for the sum of £200. Only when he came to hand the money over did it occur to him what an extortionate amount he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hands. In the result, the scene we see before us, he collapsed and shook. Yes, the killer in his special exhibit fetched a killer price. We can only pray that the gentleman's dreams are not plagued with regrets. Alright, Waxwork's fate. Conclusion, sold for cash. Okay. Sell rock, Steely Dan. The question that arises then is, what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider the problem for a moment. You cannot possibly... What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? The funny answer one need only observe. His neckerchief. Such as is worn by policemen as a secret sign to fellow members to do to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman, currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay. What are you talking about? The man's quite a celebrity. He received triple accolades at last year's policing awards. What? Next we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with a particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely and he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost in fact, as if he wore waxwork. But your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe! The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag. Threepence? A tragically low price, you might say. Though perhaps that going rate for aging waxworks rid of the cracks. And yet you sold it to the portly gentleman for an exorbitant £200. The sort of plucky behaviour that's sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't that so, madam? I do not. Yes, the waxwork you sold has already been seized by the police and remains in custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with his grave in a special exhibit, and not a moment too soon. It's a short one. It's a short one. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Not the pot. I see I've stunned you all into silence. You have, Hurley. You have. And you've obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her culture looks awfully hot. If I could just bring up one point, Mr. Sholmes. The notorious Naruhodo 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow. According to your deduction, then, the special exhibit featured this old policeman. Does that mean that he's a particularly ruthless murderer, wouldn't it? The killer policeman, Otter Mole. Sorry. It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time, only to find the culprit had disappeared into the ether. It turned out the culprit was a policeman himself, a senior officer by the name of Otter Mole. So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old man is supposed to be? Indeed, it is a particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance only too well. Is £200 a lot of money for a wax model? It will be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages, if that put things into perspective. So, it is quite a lot then. Is there anything else you wish to add? Before I melt you down. That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous. The smell of all that molten wax is starting to worry me. Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accuse her to her face, so I think I might have to call in your assistance here, Iris, if that's alright. To make some minor corrections to the great detective's great deductions. Of course it's alright. We'll set things straight up. We'll soon set things straight. Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Two-Spell vents her anger. Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow. So, Madame Two-Spells, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work. There you go. To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum. The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so happily from your back. In my estimation, some £200. That is all my own money. So what does this large sum of money reveal? Ah, not as much as the involuntary glance you cast, it would seem, Miss Madame Two-Spells. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the £200 is revealed by the public notice. I've even looked in this direction, it's true. But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks, even for £200. Oh? She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything. I mean, yeah, this is her passion. For how much money I would. It sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway, what if the £200 could have some other significance? Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything else that could explain it. Oh, well, there you go. Waxwork for sale. Would anyone really buy models of mass murderers? I think I'd rather have £200 in my pocket. Exactly. You could buy one of those brand new types of steam carriages. Or steam carriage. That's what I'd spend it on if I had it, no question. Ooh, I'd buy all the herbs in the world. Let's see another explanation for the money. You keep looking. It seems this well-dressed gentleman is alive after all. He's not alive and kicking. He's not a waxwork of a model or a model of a mass murderer. I'm not sure I'd pay £200 for him. I don't think the man's up for sale. Well, anyway, there's just any place to put him. Other museum visitors could easily trip. I don't think the man was put there on purpose either. Enough games. Not on the wall. What's this note doing pinned on the wall there? Oh yes, let's see. Dear Madame Two-Spells, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is £200. Have the money ready by noon on the 23rd of October. What? This is just like the sort of thing that's left behind when someone is kidnapped. Sorry. Yes, it's a ransom note. Exactly.
Take that!
Oh, I thought I was gonna do the clink. The clink, 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 clink. I love dogs, man. They're so cute. There you go. The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that ransom note. Quite so, and we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness, abducting a waxwork. Ah! 200 pounds is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it. The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have. In summary then, the 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who was the poor gentleman stretched out peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Ah. Unfortunately, madam, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow, of course, was the 200 pounds. So if the waxwork was kidnapped, where does that leave us in terms of who the man is? We just ask him when he comes around. I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris. Yes, you're right. Hurley's trying so hard. You must have let him down. Well, there's a little doubt that he suffered a shock. Not much seems clear. In that case, what's Madame Tussauds trying to hide? Oh, look around. Oh, goodness, excuse me. Oh, what the hell? She was prepared to pay all that money to get her waxwork back again. Maybe it must have been a very special model of a mass murderer. It's how special can a model of a ruthless killer be? Well, anyway, we can be fairly sure the man lying on the floor didn't take it. I suppose we should leave him in peace. Madame Tussauds has very long hair, doesn't she? Yes, but you couldn't tell looking at her from the front. You know, looks rather like a whip, don't you think? A sort of whip that could have floored the gentleman with a single crack. It seems a little far-fetched, even for you, Runo. Yeah, I was about to say, that is not her hand. There you go. That's her hand. This is just Madame Tussauds' right hand, isn't it? Yes, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all. Oh, but wait a minute. It's a left hand as well. Look. Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please. And it seems very stiff too. In fact, it's really hard. You mean it's made of wax? I mean, also the discoloration. She is not the same color as his hand.
Take that!
dealt the man such a shocking blow is, of course, the waxwork hand. Indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow. How could you? The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be a right hand, but closer inspection reveals that it in fact is a left hand. It's somewhat masculine too, as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madam. It is the hand of a waxwork model. Kia! Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage. So you mean that arm? Yes, this gentleman saw fit to try remove it as a souvenir. No small keepsake or keepsake. Like taking a whole branch of a cherry tree when you go to view blossoms. I'm afraid I had to teach them a lesson. He confronted the man and tried to take the arm back. In the result, the scene we see before us, he was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later, but for the time being we have a conclusion. Yes, the killer in the special exhibit has been kidnapped. Sold for cash. Kidnapped. Waxwork location discovered already. Nope. The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider that problem for a moment. Here, you cannot possibly. What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief. Neckerchief. There you go. According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is assigned to the other policeman that the crime is underway. The way of communicating with his colleagues are revealing his identity, yes. It's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard. That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away. Well, uncovering secrets is in any true detective's nature, of course. Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Two-Spell's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly. A secret scarf to warn other agents of ongoing crime. I know. Sounds so thrilling, doesn't it? Maybe I have to work. I'll try to work it into the next month's installment. But then a police secret will be revealed. Goodness, I can't talk today. But then a police's secret will be revealed to all of London's 6 million inhabitants. Well, they'll just have to come up with a new sign, I suppose. How does this 10-year-old manage to have such terrifying influence? I've seen hats like this in Japan as well. They're called flat caps, aren't they? Yes, they're hunting caps. Harley's hat is called a deer stalker, by the way. Hunting, stalking. The British certainly seem keen on catching game. Every time I see a deer stalker, I automatically think of Mr. Sholmes. But a flat cap makes you think of a... Goodness, I can't talk. But a flat cap makes you think of a Japanese country gentleman somehow. In other words, people from all walks of life wear all different types of hats. So it doesn't really help us. What the? That man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder where his arm should be. Well, that settles that then. Right. This isn't a real person at all. His entire arm's been ripped off from his shoulder down. His arm's been... Of course. That ties in what we just found out. Ties in with... There you go.
Take that!
Oh, excuse me. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his shoulder stub. No such boneless human walks this earth. Of that I can assure you. In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact defying all odds, a waxwork model. I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes. He has become quite a celebrity in London, being the winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man. Naturally, what other explanation could there be? And it was this detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the special exhibit, wasn't it? Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with a particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely, and he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork. But you... Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it at once. Of course. Observe! The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag. The killer policeman, called Otter Mole, was it? Was he well known? It was all over the papers last year. But I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price though. Threepence isn't much money. Only enough for a measly hours of gas and Mr. Garrett's delightful lodgings, in fact. This is a special killer. So this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit, is it? The waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for £200. It's this crusty old killer crusty? That's so mean. Is this crusty old killer policeman Otter Mole? Really? Perhaps we should have a good look around us again and see if another idea crops up. There you go. 3 pence. It's a far cry from £200, isn't it? For 3 pence, you could buy it and put it on display in your room, Bruno. I think I'd rather not go to sleep being watched by an old man, if that's all the same to you. This price tag does stand out, doesn't it? I mean, you could even buy the helmet on his head for that much money. I don't think. I wonder what the price tag's really for, then. It's for the scarf. It's on the scarf. Ah. Clever. Very clever. Look at this. The old man's tapping his foot like crazy. He seems to be fast asleep, though. He's not tapping his foot consciously, then. So you mean... It must be a twitch. Never mind that. The point is waxworks don't tap their feet. Or twitch. Look at his arm, too. We've seen a scarf like that somewhere else around here, haven't we? Well, yeah, I was about to get there. I don't believe it. The secret sign that let other detectives know some criminal activity is underway. Yes, it's a slightly strange choice of outfit if he was trying to go unnoticed. Ah, he must be a detective disguised as a policeman. Or a detective disguised as a waxwork model of a policeman. Doesn't look like he's clever enough to think of something like that, though. Perhaps you should try to be a little more polite about him, Iris.
Take that!
No, it wasn't that. Wow. I forgot it was the scarf that he used. Wow, this is pretty extensive. Let's see. According to you, Mr. Sholmes, a scarf like this is a secret sign used between undercover detectives. So perhaps this is the famous plainclothes detective, Sergeant John Clay. Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what part of this man's outfit would you call plainclothes? Ah, and I believe I described the man as young, too. Ah, hold on. They say it was only last year that I saw him being awarded his triple accolades at the Policing Awards. They say detective work can age a man, but this would be extreme, I'm sure you'll agree. Well, I know I suddenly feel 10 years older after that. If we just pour a little more of that molten wax on him, we'd soon find out if he was real or not. Yes, you never know, there may be another way. We've already come this far, so we should just stick to a logical deduction, don't you think? Alright, if that's the way you want to do it, then we should examine him in more detail. If anyone saw it, they'd think we were obsessed with the elderly. Yeah, this makes sense though, it shows that he's alive.
Take that!
That's so funny. Ding! There you go. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch. Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch. Or even the most realistic waxworks don't exhibit a twitch. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of Scotland Yard. Slight shift in your choice of adjectives then. And there you have it. Well, Madame Two Spells? Well, what? It was me who contacted the police, and the man... Why is Naruhodo's... Why does it look like that? That's not the same color. That's brown and this black. Right here, below his clothes. It's so weird looking. It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come in the first place. He is clearly fatigued. He is sound asleep. But then, what's this tag about showing a price of 3 pence? What's this tag about showing a price of 3 pence? Not that the price tag of the muffler, which the old Bobby purchased recently at a local market. And I presume you preserve the scarf tied around his arm. Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, a secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway. Of course, because, as you know, there has been just such criminal activity happening here. As you deduced from the very beginning, Detective. So, it would seem that we finally arrived at the truth. The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. In Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remain a mystery. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle. Waxwork location, still a mystery. So in reality, we didn't need that at all. that whole deduction reasoning, we didn't need it whatsoever. Mr. Trump just could have just told us. All sorts of people visit my museum here, men and women, young and old. Sometimes they drop in for just a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome them all. If anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway. Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had been led to believe. It was a pleasure, my dear madam. I'm gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I have no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display, if it was indeed genuinely abducted. Yes, tragically it was. Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork, in as much detail as possible, if you please. Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work. The talents of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel, but as you wish. There you go, the stolen waxwork. Tell us more about the stolen waxworks, please. It was some days ago now. When I came in here one morning, I immediately noticed that a waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here. It is your most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed. And I found the ransom note in its place. The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it back then. So this waxwork that was stolen, it was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose. Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other, I would say. The Professor. Not a name I've heard of before. I have. He ball. Professor, we ball. So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete. Sorry? The Professor case happened around the time I was born, didn't it? Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time. The Barak Veinzieks graduated from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying. So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life. As you surmised, it was the Professor case. There's his theme. There goes Barak Veinziek's theme again. So who was this Professor then? The Professor. It was a series of gruesome murders that had all of London gripped in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death. And now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though of course, he happens to be absent at present, on account of the abduction. But I don't understand. How is all this related to Lord Van Zieks? You must first understand, my dear fellow, why it is the professor earned such infamy. It was due to the victims he chose, some of Whitehall's finest. What do you mean, Hurley? Those murdered by the professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwaves through the country's administration. Members of the... wait, of course! What Professor Harebrained said. Lord Van Zieks' family is from a noble blood. His family with noble blood. Oh gosh. It was the fifth victim that led to the professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of Clint Van Zieks. No, I don't believe it. Van Zieks? I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourselves. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barak pursued a career as a prosecutor. Wait, hold on. You say younger? Older. There you go. And eventually became the Weeble we know today. I had no idea Lord Van Zieks had such a tragic past. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. As a waxwork exhibit. I'm afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well. Oh, yes, of course. It's been a pleasure, thank you. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Oh, okay. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. It's been too long. It really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barak. It's been 10 years. And here we are, meeting in a prison of all places. I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Osborn. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen. Tomorrow, the court will decide. Yes. I have a young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seems reliable enough, though. It was an accident. A terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it. I must warn you. Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're gonna be prosecuting, aren't you? Yes. Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories. Barak, are you really... What? Never mind. I know that you have my best interest at heart. My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody yet. Oh! Now when you look at that, that's a man that's earned respect. It's finally time, bro. We're gonna see the Van Zieks redemption arc. Well, yeah, I guess redemption arc, because he is horrendously racist. You'll see why. And I'm not saying that as justification. I'm saying there is a reason for it. But again, there's no justification for that. He's just horribly racist. There you go. Ah, that's so cool. I love that. We're seeing the shift. My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else. Of course. I fully understand. Thank you, Barak. Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court. There you go. Yeah, that was a long one. There's no way I was gonna finish that. Well, nah, it was a 3-hour stream. I could have. dun 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 dun. Yeah, because I've had longer. I could have finished it. I would have been tired, but I could have. Now the question is whether I should do it now. Yeah, I should do it. I should continue. Keep going for at least a little bit. Dun 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 dun. Alrighty, let's continue. Now it's time for court. Alright, let's continue. 23rd of October, 8:52 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Good morning, Professor Harebrain. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. I feel it every time I'm here. Like gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think you're just nervous. I think it's probably all in the mind. Ah, yes. Well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life. To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was no more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. Justice for all. It's gotta be Mr. Sholmes. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with the most tiresome case here. Mr. Sholmes, I expect to see you here today. That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone with her. I was surprised she wasn't there. Wow. Yeah. That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it... Sherlock Sholmes? Indeed, sir. I am he. Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits even whilst living in Germany. Ah, yes. Rents magazine is on sale in Germany, too. This month's installment was sublime. Your introduction in The Invention of Silver Blaze was wonderful. Ah, yes. A memorable case indeed. It concerned a stake, I seem to recall. No, that was the Speckled Band. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't say. Oh, cool, fantastic. I have urgent business at Madame Two Spells. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. Ah, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, aren't you? This week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Ooh, you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley. Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for pie. One of the universe's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite. Oh yes, quite. Definitely, absolutely. I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. What? Wrong person. Wow, excuse me. I wish you the best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Oh, why, thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please. Oh, what's this about? As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was. I've read Professor Bunnybrain's paper about it too, Bruno. I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree. But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. And it is that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I have no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. Well, looks like you're on your own today, Bruno. But chin up. You can do it. Oh, well, what about you, Iris? Oh, no, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do. I see. It's gonna be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is. Ah, that sounds ominous. Obelisk the Tormentor. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. What? Chill out, bro. We're good, man. On our way. Did this item meet your expectation? Hell yeah, dude. I love Undertime Slopper. Oh man, I love Saturns to be a hero. Now make sure that I have everything accurate here. There you go. Everything accurate. The kid from Akron, bro. Not the kid from Akron. Oh no. The experiment that the laws of science can't possibly succeed, and a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. "23rd of October, 9:10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom." Look at all these new faces. Every single one of them, all new faces. Insane. What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. In the name of wow, excuse me, wrong person. In the name of Her Court Majesty the Queen, or Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice. And what's more, Suzuto, no. I'm without Suzuto-san today. Or Iris. It's just my imagination. Does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well. Mr. Odie Osmond. Mr. Osmond was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Fenzies, but the jury unanimously found him not guilty. Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. That would have been a crazy case for Naruhodo to be at. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on October 21st, Mr. Osmond met his end. The book of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Osmond's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? Ooh, this is a stoic fella. Wow, what a lad, huh? I'm most gratified to have been no, not that. I am most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Goodness! Wow, she is... I will not say anything more. I will not say anything more. To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly. It sends shivers down my spine. Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials. All nothing more than performances. Any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang. Oh, we have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence. And settle on one. Is that it, isn't it? Actually, no, he wasn't in the last he wasn't in the last game. Not at all. The gentleman was. Not him, though. Wait. Yeah, no, yeah, he wasn't. Wasn't like this, or wasn't. Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. That's the police killer Automo lookalike. Again. He's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are all here to judge today tragically look. Goodness, alright. ReZero, my beloved. How I love you so. There's a lot of Bunny Girl Senpai novels. I did not realize this. There you go. Alright, sorry. I had to see that. Give me 1 second. So I just had to step away for a second to use the bathroom and I have nothing to eat. I'm starving. Well, a snack to eat at the very least. I'll have to eat after the stream. That's what's wrong. Okay, let's see. The incident. Okay. No, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of all London know the whole world will be on his trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Van Zieks. Gladly. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on a great exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage, instantaneous kinesis. Good lord, that's a bunch of gibberish. It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly into another location where they are subsequently reassembled. Is such a thing even within the realm of possibility? Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure. Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking. Ha! The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny. Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field. I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. This expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. What's the prosecution's view on the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. What? What rot? Order! Order! The Professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Osmond's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But, huh? This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the witnesses to the stand. Show the first witness. There you go. Oh boy, Mr. Gregson again. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation. The lock-in? Albert Harebrain, scientist. You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition. What you demonstrated was incredible, alright. An incredible explosion. But the science was a success. Instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success. Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. This is taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. Oh, teasing. This is taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it. I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence. A photographic print of the victim taken after he had ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower. It shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. The photograph of the victim has been entered into the court record. There you go. As the court heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Artie Osmond. There must have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being. He was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself. I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct? Exactly. But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right. That must be it. My splendid machine. My poor splendid machine. You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We could even examine the wreckage thanks to the special... Oh, goodness. Thanks to the Special Dispensation for Specific Equipment or Scientific Equipment Act. What? The wreckage? The wreckage? But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or deliberate and malicious? A deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simple, my lord. I beg your pardon? Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry, me? No, your neighbor. Yes, sir. It was a murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty. What? How could you possibly think that? Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder. A front for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. But the postmortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was geez, a lesion. I was about to say liaison. There was a lesion in his chest where he could have been stabbed by something sharp right through the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere. This fella's the only one who could have done it. An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart. Information I would have really liked to have from... Excuse me. Information I would have really liked to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coolness of the death would have been all but instant from a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. That is horrible. Why would you say that? No, no, and no! That couldn't be further from the truth. I have here the experiment plan. I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. Yes, excuse me. The victim stood himself inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly. To the second level of the crystal tower, about 25 yards away. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair, for where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the crystal tower's large round window. My word, one assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident. A terrible accident. Unfortunately, an excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. There you go. Your request is granted, counsel. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The autopsy report of the victim. The autopsy report for the victim, Mr. Osmond. His neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. Already off to a great start, man. I was there in person, you know. Oh, no. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only person on stage with Mr. Osmond was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist. And really, by all accounts, it must have been him. Hard to think otherwise, really. Very well, counsel for the defense. Juror number 2, I would love to get to know you. But, nah, you come secondary. Not even secondary. You don't exist. The person I want to know the most is Madame Two's spouse. I want to talk to her about witchcraft and waxing. Detroit Forces Game 7. We're going to Game 7. Yep, so 7:30. 5:30 the call missing. There you go, yeah, I'm about to say. Three Game 7s tonight. That is so funny. No, well, 1 today and then 2 tomorrow. That's so funny. Wow. Mm-hmm. 5:30, the call missing. There you go. Very well. Counsel for defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Suzuto, where are you? It's crazy, man. It's insane. Because, like, you look at it and it's like, oh, you know. First trial, you had Asogi. Second trial, well, second case. No, excuse me. First case, you had Asogi. Second case, Suzuto was your investigative partner. Third case, Suzuto was your assistant. Fourth case, assistant. Fifth case, it was Iris, right? So, 3 Suzuto, 1 Asogi, and 1 Iris, right? Then case 1, Naruhodo isn't even there, it's just Suzuto. So I guess it would be 1 Suzuto, and then 3 as her assistant, or 3 as an assistant. And then, no, it was, what am I talking about? It's, what's his dude's name? Mikotoba. It was Mikotoba. Yuji Mikotoba. So 1 Mikotoba. And then 4 Suzuto for case 2 of this game. And now nobody for case 3. It's the first time ever. I need to focus here. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I have felt this way about something, but now I'm found for murder. The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. Yeah, sure, whatever, bro. Keep talking. Keep eating your fish and chips. Are you suggesting that that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Excuse me.
Professor Hairbrain, I already hired something from the court. Aha! It's 4. What was that? I was calculating the neutralization coefficient of electrical charge required for electrolysis of a human subject. I have to keep the results as a secret at all costs, you see. That's why I ate the paper I did my working on. But I've completely forgotten the number. Dear me, I am a scatterbrain sometimes. Well, once before you ate the paper, you did yell out the number 4. No! You knew it? You know my secret coefficient? Oh dear, oh no, this is bad, oh my goodness. Perhaps you could just focus on the testimony. I never did that before, so I wanted to try it, because there's a trophy in the first game, I think, for doing that.
Hold it.
There you go. Alright. Exactly. Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business. What's that? The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success. After the explosion, the cage with the fella inside suddenly appeared out nowhere in midair. So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did not actually occur. Remind us, Professor. What was the cause of the fatal disaster? I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake. Mistake? So the angle of projection is critical, is it? You calculated it yourself personally? Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out. Only you got it wrong, didn't you? Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is complicated, even I can make a mistake. Do we both fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. I I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temp. Ooh, wait a second. Hold on. Ah, my beloved. I considered every possibility, every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Alban was wearing at the time, I suppose. Ah. Crackling comets! The answer should have been 3! So much for safety first. 3 must have been for safety third. That's corny. But the postmortem examination revealed another injury. A fatal one. A fatal wound.
Hold it!
Another fatal injury, you say? Oh, excuse me. That doesn't make any sense. I didn't think I had to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there was 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, doesn't it? Do right. Do right. Obviously, at first we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well, which, you know, is fair to say. Like, but you're saying that's not the case? You get your answer once I finish my fish and chips, if you don't keep butting in every few seconds. I know that's a bottomless bag, it honestly really is. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that is the cause of death. Right, that's what we all thought, but it was a red herring, wasn't it? Keep wanting to say liaison. There was a lesion in his chest where he could have been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart.
Hold it!
The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received the support from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. I hate you. So, what's the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused's tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Ah, yes. That appears to be some kind of screwdriver. A wooden account. Ah! There he is. There he is. My just a little companion. Andrew! Andrew. Of course. Andrew. There's a big A on it. Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends. Like all of my tools. I named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. This is not a good look for your case. My goodness. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. Ah, that isn't... There's no way. It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt. It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt. No. And that's not all. The long sharp shape of this Andrew fella. They're calling him by his name. It's so funny. The long, sharp-shaped Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. What? What? Andrew, no. Order. The court will enter this friend to the defendant as evidence. The screwdriver has been entered to the court record. Professor Harebrain's trusty screwdriver that he's named Andrew. These are traces of blood. There are traces of blood at the tip, and it matches the shape of the victim's wound. So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it.
Hold it!
No, honey. What grounds do you have for saying that? Huh. Did you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on the public experimentation stage, in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odie Osmond, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. We know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right. I've seen him with my own eyes. Furthermore, following the explosion in Kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words,
Great Scott!
you will wait your turn. There you go. In other words, only someone else on stage the victim could possibly have done it. Now you can go.
Excuse me!
Great Scott! Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And then when this stand is the best place for that. It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. Yes, that's right. Of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh? I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly stab Mr. Osmond as you say. Explain, please, Professor. Please. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals, with blood running continuously through their veins. I had heard, I've been made privy. Then surely you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. But thousands of Londoners are watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Well, no, I suppose not. You see, not one. True. I didn't see anything like that. Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument that will be broken apart by the man over there. Order. Order. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hollow chalice to accompany my old friends. Why do you talk so long? Why? I don't understand. You can say things. You can say things succinctly. You know, that's also fine. We could do that. We could promote that. What happens when you put an apple pie inside of an apple fritter? That's what we're here to find out today. Now let's see. If we're doing it live. There you go. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hollow chalice to accompany my old friends adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barack. But I'm really not a patch on you. No, you're not. Wow. That is disrespectful. No? You neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have. A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Ah, of course. Of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this? Very well. Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body while he was beamed through the air. Yep, because that's the only way that would contain the blood. Why would you think that, Inspector? With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. Whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word. I see. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for an investigator. Ah, Mrs. Dosan, you need her. If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing. Wow. If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Osman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device. The screwdriver was still where he planted it. I would never do such a thing. That's my precious tools. I would never use them for such dirty work. You only use tools for their intended purposes. That's common knowledge for any scientist. The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution demonstrated. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. The Van Zeeks keep that to himself until now on purpose, to gain the advantage. Oh well, suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much information as I can. Alrighty, let's see. Details of victim. Coroner Courtney Scythe. Ah, man. Name Odie Osmond, male. Age 47. Nationality British. Time of death 21st of October around 2:20 p.m. Cause of death hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations. A broken vertebrae most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from considerable heights. They call him Cooper Cup. Oh, there's no one to the right. Oh, no. Naruhodo is food. They're gonna eat him alive. This is Mr. Osmond's, or this blood. Mr. Osmond's no doubt. It's the problem with looking at murder weapons. Andrew, no. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the Kinesis machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. Ah, some sort of lever here. What the? What is this? It looks like a cross between a bow and a gun. Please. I think it's probably used for the same thing too. A weapon found hidden behind a tree under the experimentation stage of the exhibition grounds. Turns out that it's a floating crossbow. Okay. What if it's the crossbow? There's no way, right? Yeah, there's no way. Let's see.
Objection!
I was right. Okay, I was right. So far, I'm not using a guide. I've been getting too accustomed to having it. Lumfao. Alright, how long have we been going for? Like 2.5 hours? Most likely. Yep, almost 2:40. Okay. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there was very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal? Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though else where the fellow was stabbed. Only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding. It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, what about this screwdriver? The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor with the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I wanted to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Oh, well, now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, we don't understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate. Do you contravene the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing. Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool has still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on a stage. That's right. That's right. It should have been beamed across the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Osmond. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. Duh. Order! Order! How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't... Looks as though everything that the victim had on his person... Yes, excuse me. Had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred. Obviously, I should have been beamed to the destination as well. It's a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, talk about tightening the screws here. My lord, the prosecution is unable to explain the inconsistency in this argument. We can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Ooh, wow. Lord Van Six is stumped. Oh, wow, my ears. Oh, thank you, Albert. I really needed that. You have something to say, witness? Yes. I knew it. It bears out. The equation holds. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry. About what? Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Osmond's chest, my trusty tool would have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? Albert, what are you doing? Sir, please. You have to log in. It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. Just when I have found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists. I hate them. Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with a scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold. In the name of Apollo. Or, in the name of Apollo. I will, my lord. Apollo? Huh. The inconsistency explained. The inconsistency explained. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that the Kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised from Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Osmond was the patron of my research. Without him, my work couldn't have been possible. Wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. Oh wow, sorry. I forgot I'm streaming. I'm supposed to be reading. Alright. So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis. In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, it therefore remained lodged in the victim's chest. Its subsequent discovery on stage, despite the victim being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency. And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer. Oh goodness, my ear. My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain a subject from the wood for that very reason. I was not addressing you, witness. Professor Harebrain? Yes. Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No, no, no. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist after all. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Okay, I mean, it's my job, so I have to. Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. Get Gregson the hell out of here. We don't need you, bruh. We don't need you. Easy, let me chill out. I'm bugging out. I'm tweaking. Alright, inconsistency explained. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. Whoa. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, Kenny.
Hold it!
And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in very highest esteem. In the very highest esteem. But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know. Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? This fraud? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Van Zieks really did have a friend once. I didn't notice how freezing over. That's so mean. Chill on him, bro. Chill on him. My hypothesis states that the kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence the metal weapon would have stayed put.
Hold it!
Your hypothesis states it, so this isn't proven then. No, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It is the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that's what I call the sea... Huh? That's what I call the sea obtusa cage, in which Mr. Osmer was placed for kinesis. Ah, the jail cell in which the victim was contained. It does indeed seem to be made of timber of some sort. Now thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship. In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on stage if it was made of metal, correct? Yes, that's it. Yes. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model. Whoa, wait a second, hold on. There's no way, right? There's no way. We just have to see. Anyway. But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Ah. Indeed, sir. Someone beam me out of this nightmare. In other words, the points just raised from Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all.
Hold it!
I want some cereal. Ooh, man, that cereal sounds really good right now. I want some cereal. I want a Oreo ice cream cone. I want everything. I want others of it. Oh. You seem to be pleased by that. Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased? No. I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Osman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse, I know that! No, you're quite right. Tell the court. Tell the court. Did you have a close relationship with Mr. Osman? Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis and the project. And a research grant, of course. Mr. Osman was the patient of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible.
Hold it!
No. Juni na yun na yo. Man, I'm so excited for the conference semifinals for the playoffs, man. I'm so excited. Like, you can't tell me that Spurs and Timberwolves wouldn't have been cinema, excuse me, if Anthony Edwards was there. If he was, well, if him and Dante were there. Ooh, wait. Oh my goodness. Would have been a banger. I deserve it all. There you go. How do you input's all good? Alright, we're all set. Okay. How did you come to know Mr. Osman in the first place? A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work. That's a scientific journal. Good gracious, I should need new spectacles. I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had ate little tiny meals at a tiny little cafe and drank watered down water out of a tiny little glass. Watered down water? What? Alright. But Mr. Osman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory, and offered you money to help fund your work. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Osman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us produced that fantastic machine together. A machine that you brought to the great exhibition to demonstrate. We had to apply it to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I don't understand all that side of things. Mr. Osman took care of it. Mr. Osman took care of all that. Nope, Mr. Osman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man, really. I owe everything to him. I owe him everything. I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
Hold it!
When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean that you were involved in its construction? Yes. Well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer. Little remains of your creation now, though, following the explosion. Repair would no doubt be impossible. Yes, I realize that. But still, if someone were to gather all the broken parts they could discover the secret of my hypothesis. Mr. Osmond and I toiled over that machine for so long. We put our hearts and souls into it. Have to protect our work. So what's left of that machine must be kept safe. That's only fair, because what happened was an accident. I see you sent him the testimony then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him to do any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder. What if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? The Reaper attacked. Is the kingpins in the criminal underworld generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials? And this isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Van Zieks as a result by the sound of it. It makes you think, if that's how the justice system works in London, then there must be dark forces at work. Very much so. And you will soon find out who they are. It's like layers of a thick canvas with a thick rubber lining of sorts. Or maybe not.
Objection!
Okay. It seems like I was right. Because my assumption was that he had metal on him. Like maybe his glasses were metal. But let's see how they answer. Because I don't think I'm right. I don't think I'm right. See how long have I been going for now? 3 hours? Yeah, 3 hours. Let's continue. Alright. Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly right. In that case, I'd like you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Osmond is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No. Metal can't. That's not metal. No. You've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis is correctly predicted, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal rimmed spectacles will be found in the same place. Ah, my hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Yeah, you have to go against your client. Order! 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 Counsel, what is the implication of this? If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. In that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound. I proved it that day. The experiment was a success. The experiment was the proof of my work. If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a matter of science, there is one thing I simply cannot abide. And it's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science. What? Wait, Great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect? It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. Wow, that's wrong guy. Sorry. It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined. No, never. The machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis. It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What the devil is the blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule? I like the way this seems to be going. It's the best way for me to help the professor. Raise an objection.
Objection!
Yeah, okay. Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect the invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. You would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing. He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. You have to go for... If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators? Goodness, I'm sorry. Oh my lord. Oh. I gotta lock in. What am I doing? Good gracious. What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds? Good goodness to Betsy, no, wait. No, I cannot say that. It's not my culture. My goodness. We're talking about heavens to Betsy. Nah, buddy. I am not that. How many streams can you do in one day, man? My goodness. Like, you're an order of magnitude out, madam. You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year. Oh, are you could you could live a handsome on that much for years. Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently, and plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty more than enough for murder, I assure you. No. I haven't deceived anyone. Least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound. The science is sound. Please, you must believe me. No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Ha! Barack. And therefore, the only person who could have possibly committed this murder is the accused. Ah, Barack. I knew it. Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. I was right. That's how you pronounce it. C'est la vie. So is life. the accused killed the financier. The financier victim. Financier, I guess. Financier. The financier victim now on the public stage, before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. Something... well, granted, you know... let me get my words straight. Barack Van Zeek's here. Mr. Van Zeeks. Something malicious is brewing here. And like what we saw from the investigation, the end of it, where he was like, I can trust him with this. Brock is going through great lengths to make sure that, like, not that Naruhodo has a chance, but the Naruhodo makes it clear what he's doing here. It's interesting. But I think you can probably tell. He definitely was. He doesn't want his friend to go to jail. You can tell. Like him hesitating when the contradiction was brought up. Him making Naruhodo declare his stance. Of course, the last scene at the investigation. You can tell. You can tell. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We should take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In this case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Oh boy, 20 minutes! Hot dog. Oh wow, okay, that was very short. That was really short. Well, I mean... Dun, 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 dun. That's fine. I don't mind that. Trial part 2. No, never mind trial part 1. Well, I'm fine ending it there, honestly. I feel like that would be a good spot since, you know, it's already a 3-hour stream. We're going pretty long. I do want to continue because I just want to play this game more, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I gotta stop. But yeah. Anyways, that's it from now. You know, hope y'all enjoyed. I don't know what the next stream will be. I am trying to stream more than I usually do, but you know, with how things are going, I don't know when the next one will be. Usually Saturday will be the day that I'm able to do them, but you know, that all depends on how things work out, right? So we'll see. But yeah, anyways, so thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. Yeah, last stream was Saturday, so it's been a week. But yeah, until then, hope y'all have a good one. See you all for the next one, and yeah.